decided to do is to come and give our support to the president.
Any reasonable human being should realize that the leadership of this country needs everyone's support at this moment.
Buhari receives top opposition politicians who defected to the governing All Progressives Congress. House of Representatives summons Army Chief and CBN Governor over arms purchase, just as Senate seeks abolishment of first degree and HND dichotomy. Also tonight, Congo's leading opposition leader dies a day after presidential poll opens. Good evening. Many thanks for joining us tonight on NTA Network News. I am Kenan Ima Abodike. Reading with me is Michael Olalaye from our Lagos studio. Let's start with politics, where former governor of Ogun State and Director General of Atiku Presidential Campaign Organization for the 2019 elections, Gbenga Daniel, has formally defected to the APC. Also joining the governing party is the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Dimeji Bankole, the Chairman, APC Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, and Governor of Yobe State, Mai Mala Buni, presented the two members of the party to President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adam Musambo has the details.
The defection of the two prominent politicians from Nigeria's southwest into the governing APC is in furtherance of efforts by the Mai Mala Buni-led caretaker committee to bolster the governing party ahead of the next general elections. Former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Dimeji Bankole, and former Governor of Ogun State, Gbenga Daniel, are here to formally affirm their allegiance to the APC, as well as loyalty and support to President Muhammadu Buhari and indeed the federal government. They were accompanied to the State House by the Chairman, Progressives Governors Forum, and Governor of Kebbi State, Atiku Bagudu, and his Jigawa State counterpart, Badaru Abubakar.
Why APC? I do not think that there are too many options that we have in our country. One thing that is for sure is that the entire world is going through challenges. There are global challenges, economic challenges, health challenges. And when you are in a situation like this, as I've usually opined, we should do less of partisan contestation. All of us must come together to support whoever is in power. And what we have decided to do is to come and give our support to the president so that jointly we can continuously navigate the country. That is what it's all about.
Any reasonable human being should realize that the leadership of this country needs everyone's support at this moment. These are critical times, and we shouldn't be found wanting. This is the time to step up and support so that these decisions can be taken, executed, and owned by us as a nation. Because 10 years from now, 20 years from now, people will ask who stood up when these things were happening. It's every citizen's right, and all we've done is exercise it today. But our actions from now will speak for us.
The Chairman, Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee of the APC, Mai Mala Buni, attributed the courageous decisions taken by the Southwest political bigwigs, driven by principles, to demonstration of confidence in the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari.
That shows the leadership of Mr. President is being appreciated, and what he's doing to the country, and that's why leaders of such caliber are joining the party at this critical time. We are registering and revalidating our membership, and they feel this is the right time for them to join us. And Mr. President is very happy, he's pleased, he's impressed.
Governor Mai Mala Buni assured them of all the rights and privileges the governing party can offer its members. From the State House, Adam Musambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, as part of ongoing efforts to rebuild and reposition the All Progressives Congress, Governor Mai Mala Buni-led Caretaker and the Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee has approved the constitution of a Contact and Strategy Committee for the APC. A secretary of the APC Caretaker Committee, Senator John Abanudo Deher, in a statement says the strategic committee will be chaired by the governor of Jigawa State, Mohammed Abubakar Badaru. The 61-member committee has APC governors, members of the National Assembly, ministers, as well as APC stalwarts. Now, Kengo's leading opposition presidential candidate Guy Bryce Colelas dies a day after polls open. Uche Ugochukwu brings us details of his death and the political situation in the country.
Campaign manager Christian Mayanda told the AFP news agency that he died in the medical aircraft which came to get him from Brazzaville on Sunday afternoon. The Congolese opposition candidate Guy Bryce Colelas died the day after presidential elections in which he was the main challenger. He came second to Sassou Nguesso in the previous elections in 2016, picking up 15% according to the official results. The 61-year-old Colelas was the only serious contender to the president left on Sunday after a string of boycotts, withdrawn candidacies and exclusions. Colelas had dreamt of replacing the country's longtime leader, Sassou Nguesso, who had forced his father, Bernard Colelas, to flee. Nicknamed Paco, he was the fourth of 12 children. He studied economics in France and afterwards taught in French universities. His campaign manager said they will continue to count the ballots, adding that he was ahead in a number of places. Although provisional election results are not expected for days, Sassou Nguesso is widely predicted to be the winner. The Congolese president has had a referendum whipped through in 2015 that gave him 3 more terms of 5 years each, which means that he has 10 more years to go. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
Away from politics, Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje has expressed formal appreciation of the government and the people of Kano State for what he described as the unprecedented strides of the federal government and the center of commerce. This was when the governor was granted audience by the president, where issues of development dominated discussions. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the report.
I came to appreciate the giant development projects that he is executing for the good people of Kano State.
They include the Ajakuta, Kaduna, Kano Gas Pipeline Project, the Lagos-Ibadan-Kano and Kano-Katsina Jibia Maradi Railway projects, the critical roads infrastructure projects from Maiduguri to Kano, Western Bypass, Kano-Kaduna Abuja and Katsina-Kano Highway projects, as well as the Aminu Kano International Airport Expansion Project.
All these things put together, they are making Kano to be the real commercial nerve center of the northern part of Nigeria, and also the commercial nerve center of some West African countries, especially with the development of railway between Kano down inside Republic of Niger. So I came to thank him for that.
And to show appreciation, the governor said the people of Kano have resolved to build a 3-level road interchange to be named after President Muhammadu Buhari.
And by the first week of April, this project will start. So I came and make a presentation of the project, how it will look like. Vehicles from underground, from normal ground, from above the ground will be interchanging at the same time without any traffic light. We revised the master plan of Kano State, and all those areas where we have hold-ups, we either build underpass or we build a bridge, and now we have resorted to putting the 3 together in one place.
The project, to gulp 9 billion naira, is expected to be completed in 18 months. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu has declared that Ondo State is neither part of nor of support of current agitations in some quarters for the establishment of Oduduwa Republic. The governor made a declaration at the swearing-in of the first female secretary to Ondo State government. Abiola Ariyo has details.
The Ondo State Governor, who is also the chairman of the Southwest Governors Forum, said the agitators for the Dua Republic are politicians who lost power and want to return through the back door. The governor cautioned those behind agitation for the Dua Republic to be careful and allow all stakeholders to discuss before imposing their thoughts on the people of the Southwest.
Young state and here. And in those states, you are the elected of the side, your interests. That will stay in the Federal Republic of Nigeria as state and president.
While administering the oath on Mrs. Oladun Odu, a lawyer and politician, as first female secretary to the state government, Governor Akeredolu enjoined her to be committed and show good examples.
Oladun Odu symbolizes the limitless possibilities of attainment for a well-trained female child.
We will proceed promptly, effectively, and efficiently to deliver.
The new SSG has held various political positions both in Ondo State and at the federal level. In Akure, Abiola Ario, NTA News.
Elsewhere, Governor Aminu Bello Masari of Katsina State has assured victims of the Katsina Central Market fire outbreak that necessary mechanism will be put in place at the market to avoid future reoccurrence of such inferno. The governor gave the assurance when he visited the scene of the fire to assess the extent of damage and sympathize with the victims. Awal Haliru completes the report.
Since the creation of Katsina State, this is the first time fire incidents of such magnitude occurred. The level of destruction was said to be the biggest, with about 200 shops and stores affected by the fire. Governor Aminu Bello Masari, who visited the market to ascertain the extent of damage, sympathized with the victims and pledged state government readiness to put necessary machineries in motion to guide against future occurrence. The governor explained that the state government awaits reports of the fire service and other security agencies to enable it to ascertain the extent of damage and the loss incurred.
What I saw, the level of devastation is what I have never seen in Katsina State. With regards to fire incidents, so far, that which I have witnessed, this is the biggest I have seen.
The governor, while commiserating with the victims, prayed to Allah to avert future occurrence of such incidents. In Katsina, Awal Haliru, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed sadness over the fire in Katsina Central Market, which destroyed hundreds of shops and billions of naira worth of wares. A statement by the senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, says the president described the incident as horrific and consoled those who lost their valued wares, adding that he has instructed the concerned authorities to support the victims. It's time now for our first break, but we'll be right back to stay. Welcome back as we go to National Assembly Cum Security, where the House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee investigating the purchase of arms and ammunition has summoned the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, and the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele. The committee wants them to appear and make clear issues pertaining to arms purchase, amount of money released, and the date of purchase. The committee, during its sitting Monday, says it has on several occasions invited the two officials on the matter, but they failed to appear.
This invitation is in line with the provisions of Section 88 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended.
Others expected to appear before the ad hoc committee are the Ministries of Finance, Interior, Defense, and the Bureau of Public Procurement. Upscaling the full kinetic approach on the nation's decade-long counterinsurgency operations is critical to rapidly ending the security threat that has truncated socio-economic activities in parts of the Northeast. This was the focus of the National Defense and Security Summit organized by the Defense Headquarters in Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has details.
Terrorists are globally known for application of extreme brutal force on their victims to instill fear and ensure control. In view of this, the Defense Headquarters is prescribing full-scale military kinetic operation that involves the use of land, sea and air assets in the northeast to rapidly locate and destroy the control and command base of criminals in the zone. This summit is therefore aimed at highlighting the prospects and challenges of the operation to enhance success.
This summit is coming when the merchants of violence are threatening to tear the very foundation of our nation.
The President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, has given a clear mandate for action. The Armed Forces of Nigeria is already seized with the actions to immediately stabilize the situation.
Guest speaker at the event knows that technology-based kinetic operation ensures success.
Perhaps not usage of overwhelming force may have been taken to mean that maybe the state is weak, but the state is not weak. The state needs to show that it is not weak so that we can send this as a threat and as a deterrence to other groups that may think they can wake up one day to challenge the state.
The summit also advocates synergy between the military and the civilian populace. This is to ensure regular provision of intelligence report that will enhance proactive rather than reactive operation. From the National Defense College in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Over the years, there has been concerns about the consistent conflicts in the northeast region that has resulted in loss of lives, property and livelihoods, with number of displaced persons needing urgent humanitarian assistance. A two-day symposium is being organized by the Center for Humanitarian Dialogue in partnership with the National Orientation Agency and International Crisis Group to aid humanitarian assistance. Ruth Aguele reports.
It has been 12 years of battling with insurgency that has left a great toll on the northeast region of the country. And the struggle for peace continues, leaving more than 2 million people displaced. This symposium by key players is to provide stakeholders a platform for experience sharing and also facilitate dialogue to identify challenges, fill up gaps, and provide recommendations that will strengthen the delivery of peace building through reconciliation, resettlement, and reintegration in the northeast region.
I urge the people in this room to reflect and to discuss the ongoing efforts of reintegration, international community's role, federal and the state government's role towards finding a balance that will restore peace, stability, and in the conflict-affected areas.
This is very much the heartbeat of the people in communicating messages of peace and how to live together. And if we can get the policymakers to understand and use the tools like the alternative narrative messaging within the work of reintegration.
We provide funding support, but the centerpiece of all of this is making rehabilitation, reintegration work.
At the end of the two-day symposium, it is hoped that stakeholders will come up with sustainable strategies on the 3 R's: build, enhance synergy, and linkages to achieve the desired goal. In Abuja, Ruth Aguele, NTA News.
Staying with the National Assembly, the passage of the bill that seeks to abolish and prohibit discrimination between first degrees and higher national diplomas will reinvigorate Nigeria's core policy thrust of evolving a technological and science-driven society. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports that this was part of submissions by participants at the public hearing on the bill.
On March 14, 2007 and June 6, 2008, the Federal Executive Council reaffirmed that holders of higher national diploma certificates should receive same recognition as that of first-degree holders without discriminatory remunerations and limits to progression in the workplace. 13 years after, this brick wall is yet to be dismantled, and the Senate resolved to address it through a legislative process.
The Senate Committee will continue to support tertiary institutions by enacting the enabling laws.
That the enactment of the bill will not only grant leadership impetus in engineering and technology practice in Nigeria, because of related background, even if you have PhD, universities will not like to employ you.
NUC, MBTE should come together and develop a curriculum that will be up to date and the same instead of reinventing the wheel.
The Federal University of Agriculture, Kaba, Kogi State Establishment Bill, sponsored by Senator Smart Adeyemi, also received wide acceptance at the public hearing.
Our people are not educated, but when we feel we have been neglected, all we are asking the federal government is to please help us upgrade this school to a university.
One of the quick win sectors which can easily bring about this diversification is agriculture.
From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
A robust and forward-marching efforts are being engaged by the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TET Fund, to provide quality service delivery to its beneficiaries through quality assurance sectors of the institutions. Seeking to this, and for the first time, directors of quality assurance of Nigerian tertiary institutions are attending a workshop on building skills for effective service delivery. The forum seeks to engender synergy and drive collaboration between the agency and benefiting institutions.
We want to achieve results as State Fund in line with our mandate. However, this could be jeopardized if there are dysfunctional services in our benefiting institutions.
Is to educate the beneficiary institutions on the fund processes. It's going to work for us better than it's been doing in the years past.
Abdullahi Musa Sulejari posed that office of the National Coordinator of Reservicam explains its role, which is to ensure customer satisfaction and manage the performance of expectation gap between the government and citizens, as well as members of the public on issues of service expectation and delivery. On a very cheerful note, President Muhammadu Buhari has joined family and friends of renowned economist and philanthropist Tony Onyemechi Elumelu on his 58th birthday. A statement from the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, quoted the President acknowledging the entrepreneurs' efforts at curating opportunities for growth and development in the country. The President commended his foresight and large-heartedness in setting up the Tony Elumelu Foundation, TAF, which has consistently inspired highly talented African youths into entrepreneurship, helped many to acquire business skills, enhanced positive social networks, and provided startup funds within the larger goal of reducing poverty. The President wished Elumelu more wisdom, good health, and longer life. It is World Water Day, and the paradoxical narrative of lacking in the midst of plenty resonates as governments strive to increase access to safe water for Nigerians. Musbahu Danwahab reports as Nigeria joins the world to commemorate Water Day around the theme, Valuing Water.
Again, a special occasion has played up an open secret of shortage in access to water around the world. And in Nigeria, the case is of irony, with the large deposits of these natural resources harnessing it for domestic and industrial use has led to economic scarcity of a commodity, with 60 million of the entire population lacking access to safe water. But while some now take it for granted, for others, water is still literally gold needed to be mined. With the thirsty mouths on the increase in the country, climate change leading to water stress, experts say the distance to access to water is becoming farther than ever. All of these issues are part of this report by UNESCO submitted to the Water Resources Minister Suleiman Adamu, who said various programs including Wash Action Plan, P-Wash and the Clean Up Nigeria campaign, but as it is, the ball seems to be largely in the court of the sub-national governments that the minister says has a primary responsibility to provide potable water for the people.
We are no longer just putting our money on equality of states or federal character or whatever. No, the state that is investing its money properly is planning properly and has shown commitment to water, sanitation and hygiene, those are the states that government will support.
Now, with the 2030 SDGs target fast approaching, development partners too say water must be given more priority.
The government needs to step up now, commit to reductions and recognize the critical role clean water has in helping communities cope with climate change.
Valuing water, the theme for this year's World Water Day commemoration, takes the issues beyond pricing concerns to include environmental, social and cultural value people place on water. In Abuja, Musbal and Wahab, NTA News.
In oil and gas, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) says it is engaging world-class companies for the rehabilitation of the Port Harcourt refinery on an operation and transfer model. The Group Managing Director of NNPC, Mele Kolokiari, speaking at a press briefing, says he is optimistic that the new strategies deployed will make a huge difference. Lydia Sampson reports.
Lots of criticism across some social and mainstream media platforms over the approval of $1.5 billion for the rehabilitation of the Port Harcourt refinery by the Federal Executive Council. While some are kicking against the idea of a bank loan for the rehabilitation, others say it is not only expensive but a waste of effort. Melikari says professionally it is time to put the record straight.
One of the conditions is that it should be maintained under an O&M contract, what we call operations and maintenance contract. It means that NNPC will not operate this plant as a basic requirement of the financing institution, which means what people thought that NNPC will not be able to maintain it and that we are not also following best practice is what we avoided, so that the best practice in every institution, every refinery is to get an O&M contractor to manage it for you, typically a plant of this nation.
Speaking on the cost of the project, Mele said it will cost between $7 to $12 billion to build a new state-of-the-art refinery, stressing that the proposed rehabilitation is not a lost cause, as older refineries are still operating in some climes.
Why would it be $1.5 billion? It's a very good question to ask. We're not doing turnaround maintenance, we're doing rehabilitation of this refinery. And there are major shifts in the status of the plant that you have to do, some upgrade that you have to do. Typically, you don't do that under a turnaround maintenance.
He agreed that there's been challenges in the last 20 years for lack of requisite maintenance, but that the present administration is dedicated to correcting the wrongs and maximizing production for the nation's economic benefits. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
It's now time to join our Lagos studio for more reports, and Michael will be guiding us.
Thank you, Kene. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has seized hard substances weighing 2.25 kilograms at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos. Commander Amadou Garba, while parading the suspects, said the traffickers were arrested after thorough investigation. Abolade Salami reports.
The various attempts deployed by drug traffickers to carry out their illicit act on hard substances have been foiled by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. Latest in the series of seizures and arrests is that of a 41-year-old Adewi Olayinka, who was arrested while trying to export 650 grams of cocaine wrapped in 2 parcels to the United Kingdom through the Sako export shed of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport cargo. Commander Murtala Mohammed International Airport Command, Amadou Galba, said the 2 suspects in possession of hard drugs weighing 2.250 kilograms were arrested by NDLEA operatives at the clearance point of the airport.
Mr. Hassan Bishi, who was arrested during the inward clearance of Ethiopian Airlines from Addis Ababa. He was arrested with 1.6 kilograms of field-tested cocaine. He hid it inside a false bottom of a blue bag that he was traveling with.
While claiming ignorance of contents in the bag, the suspects begged for forgiveness.
One guy come and meet me and give me work, so that I should help him clear it. I should help him export it to UK. And I don't know that something's inside.
I check it, I don't see anything. She hide it. Even nobody can know that anything is inside.
The moving train with a board inscription, "Zero Tolerance to Drug Abuse in Nigeria," the commander said is on track and nothing can stop it. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Members of the House of Representatives Committee on Basic Education are in Lagos to inspect projects under the Universal Basic Education Intervention Fund. Hingino Adams has the details.
This is their own little way of saying welcome to committee members on basic education. As part of the committee's duties, the members, accompanied by the Executive Chairman, Lagos State Universal Basic Education Board, Wahab Alawiye King, inspected various projects funded by the Universal Basic Education Commission. They include rehabilitation and reconstruction of blocks of classrooms, boreholes, among others.
It is very clear that UBEC has been intervening in infrastructure in Lagos State. Some of them have a few problems which we have noted, and we will communicate with both my brother here, the chairman, Subeb Lagos, and to UBEC Abuja.
Some of those structures I have seen, the waste disposal, the landscaping is very, very key. And I want to think local government could be a stopgap in assisting some of these areas.
When they have the power to appropriate, they also have the power to investigate. So investigation in this sense is to come and see what we have been doing. Money that have been appropriated, how have we been using them?
The visit, which is expected to cover all districts across the state, will last for 3 days. In Lagos, Hingino Adams, NTA News.
This is NTA Network News. More reports with Kenne shortly after this break. Please stay tuned.
Thank you for staying with us. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, has expressed optimism that following the nation's exit from recession, the economy is capable of growing to a maximum of 2.2% and minimum of 1.9% before end of this year. She stated this while briefing journalists on the achievements recorded in Nigeria's economic subsector. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the Chief of Defense Staff and the ICPC chairman also gave updates on the fight against insecurity and graft.
The media briefing was put together by the Presidential Communications team to bring Nigerians up to speed about the giant strides recorded by the Buhari presidency in critical sectors of the economy. Finance Minister Zainab Ahmed explained that despite the impact of COVID-19 on global economy, Nigeria's upward trajectory towards achieving a sustainable future has been maintained through pragmatic implementation of policies and programs.
One of the measures that have been taken is the setting up of this 1 trillion naira infrastructure company. We call it the InfraCo. It's been approved by the president. The InfraCo will finance public sector asset development, rehabilitation as well as reconstruction. They will also be able to invest in cutting-edge infrastructure in roads, rail, power and other key infrastructures across the country. The federal government has just recently signed a contract with Siemens AG of Germany. It's meant to modernize the electricity grid in the country. It is going to help us to expand the operational capacity from where we are now up to 25,000 megawatts over the next couple of years. There's the Executive Order number 7, which is a road infrastructure tax credit scheme that is ongoing and making progress. There are some major roads that have been constructed under the RITC, and the value of these interventions is almost 1 trillion naira in infrastructure projects today.
The Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo, spoke on efforts at bringing to an end terrorism and insurgency, as well as other acts of criminality in the country.
For me and the rest of the armed forces currently, what we're engaged in is to ensure that we bring the problem to an end very speedily. For me and the rest of the armed forces currently, what we're engaged in is to ensure that we bring the problem to an end very speedily. Mr. President, President Muhammadu Buhari has given a mandate, and he is also given huge and tons of support, which I do not think that is relevant for this audience to indicate. And to that extent, leveraging such motivational support from Mr. President, I think that within a very short time, we will begin to see the end of the issues, not just the insurgency in the Northeast, but across the length and breadth of the country.
Nigeria has made very, very valuable contributions to this whole notion of asset recovery. No other country in Africa is recovering any money that has been stolen from their country. I got calls from East Africa saying, look, how are you guys getting anything? How do you even negotiate your way through this and all that? Like I said, it's protracted, it's frustrating, it's expensive, but at least it's worth the effort at the end of the day.
He said anti-corruption agencies have now been empowered through a judicial milestone to do what he called a lifestyle audit on anyone in Nigeria living beyond his or her means. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Federal government committed to write fiscal policy for sustainable development, Minister tells development partners, while the Nigerian Stock Exchange begins week on a bullish note. Musa Abubakar is here on Business News. How are you tonight, Musa?
I'm good.
And just how bullish has the Nigerian Stock Exchange been?
Just slightly.
All right.
But the federal
The local organizing committees for the National Sports Festival are tidying up preparations to ensure hitch-free sports festival to hold from April 2nd, 2020 in Edo State. Chairman, Local Organizing Committee of the Games and Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu, during a press briefing, says all athletes and officials participating in the 20th National Sports Festival Edo 2020 are to be vaccinated 12 days before arrival for the tournament. Elizabeth Omoko reports.
The National Sports Festival, Tag Edo 2020, is scheduled for April 2nd to 14th, with 8,000 athletes participating as against 14,000 earlier proposed. Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu says all states are to meet with COVID-19 prevention guidelines before admission into camp, not later than 72 hours before the Games, while representatives of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 and that of the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, are expected in the state 4 days before the tournament kicks off on the 6th of April.
COVID-19 is alien to gathering. So anything that had to do with gathering in the tournament is already been taken out to observe COVID protocol. So that fanfare, that sight and sound, that memorable opening and closing ceremony will not be there this time.
Plans to stream the games live on social media and other electronic media platforms to regulate spectators are on course.
Give citizens and even people who are outside the state who will not be able to travel down for the festival some access to what is happening at the games. To that extent, engaging both the contemporary media and the social media.
The LOC is, however, appealing to the federal government to quickly make good its promise of making funds available for the sports festival to avoid risking another postponement. In Benin, Elizabeth Amako, NTA News.
And that's Network News tonight. Don't forget to be a star with NTA as we wage war against rape and rapists. My name is Kenan Ima Abodike. Have a good night.